Very, very special episode today. Welcome back. Nothing's off the table.
What's so special about this episode?
Bro, I got Lamar Odom sitting across from me.
Lamar Joseph Odom.
Lamar Joseph Odom.
I take the name Joseph pretty seriously.
Tell me why.
Well, my mother's father's name was Joseph, and my father's name was Joseph. And Joseph is probably the most important stepfather in the world. And it's just a name that I keep, close to my heart because of that. My son is Lamar Jalen Joseph, and hopefully, after he one day has a son, or my daughter has a son, they can kind of keep that tradition going.
You're a miracle, bro. You know that?
That's a whole fact.
It's a miracle that you're here.
Yeah.
I'm honored to be sitting across from you.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And we had a great dinner last night with the ladies.
Yeah, we did.
And yeah, man, this podcast is all about addiction, all about recovery. And we like to talk about how bad it used to be.
Yeah.
But we also like to talk a lot about hope and how you can go from the worst depths of addiction, and you can make it back to the other side. And I don't think we've had anyone on the show yet who's knocked on death's door.
Yeah, probably didn't. You definitely haven't met anyone who had 12 strokes and 6 heart attacks.
No.
And is here to talk about it.
Before we get to that, when did you start to think or maybe know that you had this addiction gene? Did it run in your family? And
I told you last night. My father was a heroin addict, and I think all of his brothers. He had Wayne and Carl and Tyrone, Jerome, and self. His mother had 6 children, and I think all of them were addicts. All of them except for my Aunt Kitty. And my Uncle Wayne, he wasn't an addict. Or he passed away, he was 19. He died from leukemia at 19, like 1986. That was probably one of the first funerals I ever been to. And I think they picked up addiction after my grandfather was killed by his girlfriend. And so, the type of trauma that can bring to kids, not only did your father get killed, but killed by his girlfriend.
Mm.
And, they all, died addicts or, stuck in their addiction. And my father was the only one that kind of semi beat it, but he was still to fight, the heroin, I guess the withdrawals or whatever. He was still in the methadone program, which is still drugs, right? But
yeah.
It's I guess a safer way to use heroin or to get that to ease off of shooting needles in your arm.
You get strung out on methadone also.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably was passed down to me because of the trauma that they, that came into their life from, losing their pops that was killed by his girlfriend. And I don't even think the woman really went to jail or anything like that, not for a long period of time or anything. But yeah, so and then my trauma. When that happened, I was in my mother's stomach because it happened in 1979. My mother was pregnant with me, so it I guess it followed me to my adulthood.
You told me last night that it started with smoking
Yeah,
weed.
smoking pot. I thought I had a a good excuse to take my first hit of marijuana after it was soon after my mother had passed away.
This is when you were in the NBA at this point?
No, I was my mother passed away when I was 12.
Mm.
So I started smoking weed when I was like 13, 14. And I thought I had a reason to, really. My mom just died, and because of that too, I never really pushed myself like academically. I was kind of lucky to get my 8th grade diploma. And I think the only reason why I got it because my principal at the time and the second person in charge, her name was Miss McKetney, and the principal of the school, her name was Sister Ave. They came to my mother's funeral, and Sister Ave gave me a job that summer. Because it was all on the loudspeaker. The school was praying for my mother and shit like that. And my mother got sick in January when she was gone. 2 days after the 4th of July, so she passed away like July 6th. And I never really after that I've been blessed with a natural IQ for the game and a natural love for the game and a high skill level. Especially dribbling the basketball like nobody. I don't think in the NBA even today like really like handled the ball like I did my first 2 or 3 seasons in the NBA. So I kind of like patterned my game like after like 6'10" Kenny Anderson. You know what I mean? But I never really like pushed myself in school after that. I don't know why, but
Did you push yourself athletically at least?
oh yeah, shit. I went to the I would get home from school and drop my bags off at the in the house, probably lied too much about having homework and go right to the park every day.
That was your escape.
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember when my mother passed away. That day she passed away, I just went to the park, shot the ball, and that was probably my first pass to kind of like hang out, stay out all night, and I just just shot the ball and dribbled all around the court, and um, that was the way I vented.
While you were in the NBA, I mean, you won 2 championships. You were 6th man of the year. You were playing with Kobe. Was your addiction holding you back on the court?
Well, I think because even if if you using probably the most harmless drug, which I would say probably for any athlete, I probably would say is probably marijuana.
Yeah.
They still found some medicinal ways that marijuana could help you, but I don't think you never could reach your fullest potential.
Yeah.
Even though I had some some great summers with working out and keeping myself in shape, I just never gonna reach your fullest potential if you're abusing drugs and trying to be the best athlete you can, whether it's your win or your coordination or or I would say just your effort at putting work in when you're not playing.
Yeah.
That's how great players become greater. Is the off season.
Yeah.
So if you're focusing on getting high or and partying, then you're holding yourself back.
When did you really start dabbling with
Cocaine.
coke and
I
everything?
think it was probably like maybe like 2004. It was probably when I was just about to come to back to LA. And shit, I got a crazy story about that because I remember I was in Miami, was chilling at the Shore Club. Probably was in the best shape of my life because I just got playing for the Miami Heat. And the Miami Heat has an extraordinary, unique um, um, physical program. And when I first got there, Pat Riley was still our coach. And I remember the first week of signing and playing with them. It was so strict, um, and he was hard on me, and it was a good hard. And shit, the first week of practice and playing up and down with them, I thought my name was motherfucker.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he was, yeah, he switched my whole mentality on how the game should be played. And, they needed for me to, of course, score the ball, but focus on defense and rebounding. And, I would say throughout my NBA career, I'm blessed enough to probably play for the two best coaches of my generation, which would be Pat Riley and Phil Jackson.
Yep.
And they just kind of made me kind of change my mindset on the game, kind of like how what Costamato did for Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And yeah, so anyway, I was at the Shore Club, and this woman, she was with her husband, and she asked me, did I have any coke? And I was like, nah, I ain't really even fuck around at that point in time. And I spoke to my friend who, his name is Jamie, and he's no longer here from being overcome by a heroin addiction. And I had him go get the coke for me and the woman. She told you she was with her husband. And she said, God, I walked back to the bungalow, and she's like, can we do some hair? Can we? I didn't even know how to, chop it up and get it ready. And I said, no, but he got to leave. He got to leave. So dude left, and she put it on the table and made some lines, and I did it right there, and that shit was kind of gave me an orgasmic feeling without even having an orgasm.
Hmm.
And
that was it. Like you knew in that moment, this is.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
love
this is
feeling.
yeah, I'm like, this is the shit. I think I'd rather do this than smoke pot. And then like I was telling my friend Jamie, he was on the show with me, on me and Khloé's show, and he loved doing drugs. And when you can when you have a best friend and both of y'all got the same problem, then that's a big problem.
That's a big problem.
Some years passed, and I wound up moving Jamie out here with me, and we celebrated a lot and had some real good times. But as I got older now, you know what I mean, I'm realizing how much time that we were wasted getting low.
Yeah.
I don't even really call it getting high. I call it getting low. And when you're caught in your addiction, you don't really realize who else you're really hurting, because it's not just yourself, your friends, your family that love you. You start to distance yourself away from your friends that don't do drugs, don't party. And I missed so much time with my children. They were young. I'm staying out all night and
living that life.
Yeah, it helps you. Drugs kind of curves you to make the wrong decisions. Life, this shit is happening at a rapid pace, you know. And if you're focusing on, getting low, then get detract your whole reason for being here, and could help you not serve your purpose, or not not help you not walk in the direction of your purpose. Um, but now, I think being healthy is my purpose for just being alive and being spared. Um, because I was, knocking on death's doorstep not too long ago.
Quick moment before we get back to the episode. If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, I want to tell you about Right Choice Recovery in New Jersey. Recovery changed my life, and I know how important it is to have the right people around you when you decide to ask for help. Whether you're struggling with gambling or substance abuse, Right Choice Recovery has you covered. What I love about Right Choice Recovery is the compassion. No judgment, no shame, just real people trying to help others get their lives back. The information is in the description below. Don't wait to make the call. Do you think that, listen, 99% of people, right, don't get to live the life of a Lamar Odom or any type of athlete or celebrity?
Yeah.
How do you think being in the spotlight, and we'll get into being married to a Kardashian and what came with all of that.
Yeah.
But just, bro, you were on the Lakers when the Lakers were the Lakers, you know?
We had a good run.
You had a good run. Like, did being in that spotlight also contribute to you living that lifestyle, that
I
fast?
don't think so. I think if I played at that point in my life, if I played in, for the Milwaukee Bucks, I still would have been able to, live that certain life, because we all have, even though we have so many similarities of being a professional, basketball player, we all have so many things in common, but life is life for me, for Lamar. You know what I mean? So I don't really think, being in LA had anything to do with it, because
Your addiction will follow you anywhere you go.
you're gonna get fucked up anywhere. You know what I mean? Excuse my French.
You can curse. You can say whatever.
Yeah, I mean, just one thing I think that kind of saved me is really like is being in LA, because party's over at 2:00 in the morning. You know what I mean? Going through this addiction and was in New York or Miami or a city that don't shut down, or like a Toronto or something like that, and you fucking party all night. Um, at in LA, at least you're gonna be a little safer, because you're gonna go to someone's home or someone's mansion, or be up in them hills, as Jamie would say. So, I've been here since I was 19. I have no complaints about, um, being in LA and experiencing adult life in LA. I'm from New York, so it kind of helped me grow up, even if I was being foolish, even if I was making bad decisions. You know what I mean?
I always tell people, like, bro, we're addicts. We can do the geographical thing. We're gonna take our shit with us wherever we
Yeah,
go.
that ain't gonna make a difference. And I got to learn about the world,
Yeah.
from a different perspective, and being in LA and being exposed to so many things. You know what I mean? I would never, want to, take LA out of my life for anything. Can't spell Lamar without LA.
Yep.
And, I just think about, I'm not ashamed of being an addict. I'm ashamed that, if I'm caught in my addiction, but, you know, from, I guess, basically almost dying and being able to talk about it is therapy for me. Um, and, we all, I'm just trying to continue to learn about myself, about people, and just try to use my story to help as many people as I can that could resonate with it, that want to get better, that want to live their best lives. I'm a walking example of, you can come out of that dark cloud, really at any given time if you've got the will, the power, the education to, through my time and my stint in rehab, I've learned that it's a brain disease,
Yeah.
just like, diabetes or cancer or any other disease.
Except this disease tries to convince yourself that you don't have a disease.
Yeah,
That's the
well,
only
it's
difference.
like they say in AA is, alcohol is drugs are baffling and cunning.
Yeah.
But that's how our brain works. There's some people that are suffer from addiction and in their line of work they're considered geniuses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just all about how you treat yourself, your daily practice.
Before I want to talk about kind of leading up to the night at Bunny Ranch, and we'll obviously get into that. I got to ask you about it.
So good.
Um, what happened that led you to go to Bunny Ranch? And we talked briefly about
Yeah.
the case of the fuck it's, right?
Yeah.
Most addicts who watch this, 99% of addicts who watch this show know exactly what I'm talking about when we say that
Yeah.
at a certain point in our addiction, we just got the fuck it's. We don't give a fuck. We just want to get high.
Yeah. But I mean, you know what? Like I met a really, really, and the Kardashian fans, the cult fans have kind of been riding my ass lately because they feel like I've said that um I think I married Khloé for
Yeah,
the,
let's
the
talk about
hype
that.
or the more like, what I mean? Like that wasn't it at all. I fell in love with a young, beautiful woman at the time. I can't really help it that, you our lives, the way they emerged, was so glorious that people really can't understand how I fucked it up. But I was thinking and moving like an addict.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It didn't really matter if it was fucking Cleopatra.
Yeah.
It probably would have went all. No, seriously, it would have went. It would have went all bad. But she tried to save me a time before that.
Did she know?
Yeah, I remember there was a time where well, my first stint in rehab was because she took me to the rehab. My fucking dumb ass. I'm hanging out with this girl, and this is while I'm married. So this is how you know, like the addict brain is fucking works bananas.
Yeah.
So I'm married to her, and whatever. I know this girl, and girl's like, let's go up to Big Bear. Like, but I'm married. Like, you know what I mean? She knows I'm married. I know I'm married. The whole fucking world knows I'm married. Like, the fuck am I just gonna go up to Big Bear during was it a weekday? Yeah, it had to be the summertime on a weekday. And I go to Big Bear. Wife can't find me, looking for me, obviously. And I think I'm getting so high on the way up there to Big Bear, like just sniffing and snoring. I don't know what the fuck if I was smoking or for foil or whatever the fuck I was doing, but the girl must have been scared to death. I must have dozed off. She calls my phone and lets my wife know where we're gonna be at, and first she lets my wife know obviously what I'm doing, and um, get back to the girl's house, put some coke on the table, sniffing the line, and I just see a head come around the corner, and the lady says, "Lammy," and it was their mother.
Chris.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
I remember I was fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they took me right to San Diego. It was like 6 SUVs outside because I'm doing drugs. They probably don't know what they're gonna run into. You know what I mean? Shit like that. It's like 6 SUVs outside. No bullshit. And they were trying to protect me. You know what I'm saying?
And protect.
They're a huge brand.
I was about to say,
Yeah,
call it how it is.
yeah. And they took me right to Casa de Pomara, which is a rehab in San Diego. Like no questions asked. You know what I mean? So
And you were willing to go.
I had to go. and that was just my first stint in rehab.
Did you want to go?
Hell no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's when my first night in rehab. That's when I like, I have a lot of friends that locked up or put away for whatever reason. I did at that time as well, and I think my heart and soul, you know, reached out to every one of them, and I think that's how I had, gained some strength and some courage, to do that. Because at the rehab they called my name was Joseph. You know what I'm saying? But everybody know the fuck I am,
Yeah.
and so I had to just pick my pants up and deal with the humility. And shout out to Casa de Pomar, by the way, too. They do a really good job um, at dealing with people with our brain disease. And but yeah, like my heart was just like broken and getting stronger at the same time.
Mm.
And I'm grateful, for that family for trying to take care of me as best as they can.
Mm.
No bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, I got to ask you because, my wife loves the Kardashians. My wife loves you. And, she was saying that they're dragging you because you said that, like, oh, something in the Netflix documentary said that, oh, you said that you were with her for the clout. And I
Yeah,
was like,
but
I don't believe that.
no, but that never came out of my mouth. I think that was my kids or my children or whoever they were interviewing at the time. Because as I look into the camera, I didn't really need.
You loved her.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't
Yeah.
really need more clout.
You were Lamar Odom.
Yeah, I had one of these. You know what I mean? I'm playing with the best player of my generation.
Yeah.
It just fit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think sometimes when, you know, some things fit too well, the average person can't even understand or can't even grasp it.
I'm glad we cleared the
Yeah,
air
no,
on
but
that.
I mean, I wanted to start the show by saying that too. Like, I didn't really, you know, I didn't really, I didn't really need anybody, you know, at that time. Right before I was getting married, I was in a relationship with an A+ actress.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and I had a beautiful Armenian speaking girlfriend at that time. You know what I mean? But when I met Khloé, so many things just fit, naturally.
Yeah.
And you know, even though what's crazy about that, I was just talking about that. I remember me watching Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Mm.
I probably was like in 8th grade or before ninth grade. It was definitely before ninth grade. I don't know how long Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when it first came on the air, but I said to myself, like, I'm gonna be on TV one day. And I already knew I was gonna be a NBA basketball player. I was sure of that by the age of 10. You know what I mean? You say to myself, yo, you going to the NBA?
Mm.
You going to the NBA? I'll be in school, fucking supposed to be doing work, and I'm fucking practicing an autograph. How I'm gonna write my fucking name down? You know what I'm saying? Like in the school, I think the only reason why they looked out for me, of course, my mother died. Everybody knew my mother was sick, but I was never disrespectful
Mm.
to anyone or class disruptive. You know what I mean? My mom used to go up to the school and they're just like, he ain't disrespectful, he's not disruptive, but he just sits there
Yeah.
and gazing. I was just calling plays in my head or seeing me hit the game-winning shot or, you know what I mean? Whatever it may be, how a young kid dozes off in school without going to sleep. You know what I mean? But I am past blessed. I was able to manifest before I knew, really how to manifest. I was like just manifesting my future daily. I never knew that, going to the park, putting my books up and going to the park every day, I was just really like honing my skills,
Mm.
to be a different type of player in the NBA. Because, even if you're just shooting around or you're dribbling the ball all day, you're practicing without even calling it practice. You know what I'm saying? And I was just getting better and better and better and better at basketball every day. And that really wasn't my purpose, but it was my purpose. Um, yeah, and shit, I put all my eggs in one basket, I guess, and it worked out for me. I'm not telling a kid to, say no to education or don't educate yourself, because, my message to any young, all American or anybody that's in the educational system that's hooping or playing football, that you're gonna be hooping or playing or on the court or on the field a lot less if you plan on living a long life like I do. You're gonna be on the field or on the court a lot less than you play professionally.
Mm.
And so it's good to be well versed in, finances and um different languages. So I've been so many different places because of basketball that I can't even really even remember them all.
You've lived a lot of life.
Yeah, I've lived a long life for somebody that's 46, and hopefully, um,
Your second life is just getting started, bro.
yeah, hopefully I can live as long as Moses did. He lived till he was 120, and um, be known for more than just an amazing basketball player, known for being a good human being who really cared about people. And at the end of the day, I do care what people think when the lights is on or when the lights is off. Um, just to give back any way that I can.
You know, I obviously watched the Netflix documentary, and the night that you went to the Bunny Ranch, you finalized your divorce with Chloe. You
Yeah.
said, I got, you said, fuck it. I'm
Yeah,
going
I'm
to the
going
Bunny
to the bunny
Ranch.
ranch. But you know what? My night was almost cut short because I didn't even have any cocaine to take to the bunny ranch. Like I was telling you last night, like, I used to see the bunny ranch um, come on HBO. And I said, shit, I'm in Vegas. I just got divorced. I'm going to the bunny ranch, but fuck, I don't have any cocaine to take with me.
What happened that night? Because
I mean, I got there. Took them, it was an hour for them to come get me and an hour drive um, back up there. So, you know, like personally, I took it, now some years removed, it was just a hit that failed. Now, I don't know why a dude who owned the bunny ranch would, want to try to kill me, or I didn't know him, or, you know what I mean? Or have any hard feelings towards him then.
Yeah. You said you got there and you signed the
Yeah, I
black
signed the black
Amex.
card, Amex, $75,000. Said, let's keep this a secret, please, sir. Or whoever was there that night. I don't think he wasn't even there that night. Dennis Hoff, I think his name is.
Yeah. Did you call that charge back, by the way?
No, when I woke up out of the coma, I couldn't walk or talk. And
When you woke up, who was next to you?
Khloé, my children, if I can remember correctly.
What was that like?
I couldn't even express myself.
Mm.
You know what I mean? It took me, um, I would say, months on months to have a conversation because my brain wasn't working correctly yet. And yeah, I wasn't ready to, come outside right away or be exposed to anything. It was time to put the work in and learn how to walk. It was like a baby. You know what I mean? The most humbling part about it was that, first of all, it was on TV. um, that I almost overdosed and died. And I couldn't even express to anybody that I didn't even do cocaine that night. Like, you know what I'm saying? So then I'm sitting up in Cedar Sinai, hospital, and um, I got nurses from Long Beach, from Compton. They got to come in my room and check on me every 3 hours to change the fucking diaper, bro. I'm a big boy. You know, you know, my ex-wife, if I'm not mistaken, she probably helped wipe my ass a couple of times.
Mm.
So I mean, could you imagine how it felt to be a champion, a two-time NBA champion, and a Laker champion, and um, you got to get your diaper changed.
And you were a dominating force, bro.
Yeah, I was. It's crazy because I was watching some.
You weren't no chump.
Nah, I was watching some Clipper tape, some Clipper highlights. And, that's like really like the pure essence of really how I played and how I was trying to change the game. And, I always modeled my game after Magic Johnson. And, I don't want to offend nobody, but like natural skill level, I probably had just as much as Magic Johnson. Um, he passed the ball a lot better than I did, but as far as like ball handling, like my objective was to shake you, make you move to the left or to the right for me to go straight. And not too many players at my size were playing like that. Only one that I can think of now who uses his handle like that is probably the freak from France, Wimby. He's 7'7". It's hard for him to get low and get past his man, but he does a good job at it.
Not good enough for the Knicks, though.
Yeah, not good enough for the Knicks right now. Yeah, but because it's funny. So I was talking to somebody about the championship shit, and everybody's excited right now. And I remember we went up 3-1 in the finals. I remember Kobe doing an interview saying the job's not done yet.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I was talking to my friend today, and he's from New York. His name is Joseph Nixon, and we're trying to um, open up these sober living homes in Atlanta. And I can't wait till that deal actually goes through. Um, so I can help a lot of people with that. Because my time in rehab, I never really had a problem at, finding home or finding work after I leave the rehab. You know how
Yeah.
many people like leave rehab and then it's like, now what?
They really struggle.
You know what I'm saying? But I never had that problem. So it'd be my privilege, to help these people get back on their feet after trying to beat this dreaded disease that we all have. And God, I guess, put me here for a reason. I think he's using my story and my life to to really make people better.
I want
Because
to.
I'm gonna cut you off, but I just come to think, like, I think that that Netflix special resonated with so many people. It was #2 globally
Yeah.
for a split second. And I think of the pandemic.
Mm.
You know what I mean? How many people, especially after the pandemic, found themselves, or taking pills, or sniffing a little bit more, smoking a little bit more,
Drinking a lot.
yeah, depressed,
Yep.
all that shit, kind of could, like, cause somebody to be an addict.
Yeah.
So for all those people who are suffering, after the pandemic, just you know realize and recognize that if you want it, you can get it. You know what I mean?
I want to ask you a couple important questions in relation to recovery. What does your relationship with your kids look like now? How?
Oh, I mean, it's a lot better because I'm present.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And my kids are getting older and thinking for themselves, and I'm present. When they call, I pick up.
Mm.
You know, is no running or nothing to be shameful about. You know, when my son passed away in 2006, you know, I was out with Jamie all night getting fucked up. And then, you know, I get a call from, you know, from their mother, and she's saying that, you know, my son wasn't breathing. And I was saying I was in the Mandarin Oriental in New York City. And, you know, I rushed all the way to, um, where was that? I was living in Atlantic Beach. It's like on the borderline of Queens and Long Island. I had a nice home there. And my son was dying if he wasn't dead already. And you know, their mother let out a scream at the hospital that I'll never forget. You know, I can hear that shrieking noise in my head right now as I speak to you. And you know, and the reason why is easier for me to live a clean lifestyle now because I don't never want anyone shrieking again in the hospital. You know, because Lamar took something, he didn't know what it was, and it killed him. And you know, I really mean that wholeheartedly. Like, I don't want to be the reason why my family has to go to a funeral home, you know, or you know, hear the doctor say that we don't think he gonna make it. You know, not on my watch. You know, not on my name. That will not happen.
You've been through a lot of loss, a lot of grief, a lot of trauma from a very young age, starting with your mom passing away.
Yeah.
How have you worked through a lot of that trauma
Well,
and that
I've got
loss?
some counseling, and I mean, you know, I've never really, you know, I was, you know, serious um, about my sobriety so much. Like, plant medicine was introduced to me on how it can help with addiction, depression, anxiety, and all those sorts of things. And the plant medicine ketamine, I don't know if you heard of that. They got ketamine clinics that kind of, um, and there's another plant medicine you can only get it
Ibogaine.
Ibogaine,
Yep.
and taking Ibogaine, you know, is at the time where I took it, it was I think banned in America, so I had to go down to Mexico
Yep.
and now that high, I'm calling that getting high
Yeah.
because you can better yourself with that. And you know, they told me, you know, my African ancestors used to take it to visit their loved ones who are no longer here. And when I tell you that's some strong shit,
There's a lot of positive studies and research coming out around plant based medicine, specifically for addiction.
yeah. And Trump is trying to federally legalize it here
Correct.
um, for our veterans
Yep.
who come home, you know, really fucked up. And you know, I got to see my son again.
Hmm.
I got to hear my mother's voice and my grandmother's voice continuously. Um, but it's so strong.
Yeah.
Yo, no bullshit. So like in the midst of it, like when I was going through it, I was like, please, Lord, turn this shit off.
Yeah. There's
Like,
a lot to handle.
whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
Only if you knew, bro. It's
I've
really
heard.
strong.
I have a best friend. He's into ayahuasca and doing ceremonies to
Yeah.
enlighten his spiritual depth,
Yeah.
so to speak. And he speaks very highly of it. I'm personally too afraid to do it because
Yo.
I'm like, I did mushroom one time. I had a crazy trip. I was like,
Yeah.
please turn this off, and I don't want to do that ever again.
It's
So
like mushroom times a million.
yeah, I don't think I can handle that.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, a mushroom trip, you still might get a little horny. You might have the urge to do, you know, have sex or something like that on mushrooms, something like that. But you just, even the day after, it's like a 2-day hangover,
Yeah,
you know. Um,
but you feel cleansed after, no? Like you feel lighter.
yeah, mentally and spiritually.
Yeah.
You feel like you definitely opened up, and you kind of look forward to like living your best life after putting your body through something so strenuous and and difficult. Even though you know the it's gonna end. You're not gonna stay that high forever, but it's it's definitely a rough trip. You definitely put your body through something that, man, I was just wishing it would turn off.
Yeah.
Like, please stop now. Like, please.
6 months ago, around 6 months ago, 7 months ago, you got into a little bit of trouble again.
Oh yeah, with my DUI.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that my last DUI was I don't know. I guess God put that in my life for a reason as well because um without checking myself into rehab for marijuana this time it was for.
I think that's the last thing you're holding on to, or you were holding on to.
Yeah, probably I would say it's probably the last thing I'm holding on to. Period. Um, um, but this last stint in rehab, I learned so much about myself and about the how the addict mind works. I had great counselors that I was working with at I Rely Rehab. Um, Met my sponsor, who's a stove cold G. He's like 23 years sober. Um, Went to NA or AA meetings with him for the first 30 days. So we became really close. And that was another humbling experience for me, though.
Yeah.
Um, Everybody wanted to, at the end of their rehab stint or at the end of my rehab stint, wanted to at least take a picture with, Lamar Odom and I guess let everyone know that they were in the rehab with Lamar Odom. Like, you know what I mean? So it could be a little intrusive, but um, I don't ever really want to stop working on myself. And I think that's the most important thing that I can do for me and my family.
Yeah. That was going to be my question to you: is what's different with your recovery this time? How important is it
Well,
to you?
I think was different now is that I'm ready and I learned enough about it to now spread the word. You know, and I think and hopefully I can break the addiction um, for anybody who in my family who's going through it. And I still have people in my family who are addicted. I have a first cousin. Um, he won't put the crack pipe down,
Hmm.
and whether his sister is giving him a place to stay or she can't take him no more. Um, the first thing out of his mouth is that he's Lamar Odom's cousin. And I know if I can, start with my family and then maybe one day open up my own center, which I'm really looking forward to do. Um, since I've submitted, and to that I'm an addict and I think different. I can't wait to have my own rehabilitation center so I can have my own commercial, like the Hair Club for Men commercial. Remember the Hair Club for Men commercial? Say
Yep.
I'm not only a client, I'm the president,
Yep.
something of that sort. And just treat as many people as I can. Because me from walking down that road, I realized how much shame comes with being an addict. You know, I was never really like fucked up on in the street or anything like that through my addiction. I think my lifestyle and the money that I was able to make kind of, was able to hide some of those things. But there's a lot of people that they can't hide, or they can't, look their mother or father in the eye. Even if that 15-minute conversation or 20-minute conversation that they can have, if their family member may be able to help them at that given time, but they haven't mustered up the courage yet. And so I think, the story of Lamar Odom, hopefully it can give people, muster those people's courage up, you know, to ask their loved ones who really, really, really have their best interests at heart, to help them. Um, because for me, it's always hard for me to, ask somebody for help. I'm an only child. I feel like I can get it on my own, you know, let alone, have an addictive mindset. You know what I'm saying? So um, I just really want to, help as many people as I can, um, in this lifetime with me being here and being present, not being on hardcore drugs and shit like that.
What's Lamar up to today?
Well, I just signed with this real estate company. Name of the company is First Choice. Shout out to Tony Holder, and Tony has got the people in his mind and his heart that suffered from the LA fires that would just happen to take place this last past year. And he's in the process of building back up um, the Palisades, Malibu, and he's starting in Altadena and Pasadena, where people have lost loved ones, their lives, their homes, their memories. And so if I can use my name and my likeness to to help these people, then that's one of my missions here. And so I've been like a little focused on that, and giving me something to do in my spare time. And Tony has a good heart, and he wants to help people the same way I want to help people, even though it's not through drugs. And, I've heard so many different heartfelt stories, person to person, you know, from people who've having to start all over.
Mm,
So I kind of get that part. I
yeah.
resonate with that part because when you're coming out of that addiction cloud, there's a part of you that has to start all over. Um, from but it's baby steps. The saying is you got to crawl before you walk, and I don't mind starting off crawling, um, literally or figuratively. I had to learn how to walk and talk again, like I was as if I was a baby, and I don't mind helping those people, in any way I can. Um, I might not be able to give them their memories back. Hopefully, I can bring them some new memories
Mm.
or make some new memories. But I just trying to fulfill my purpose, I guess, in a way. And if I can use my name and my likeness, and um, I feel like my energy um, brings people into a good place or a good space. Um, as we seen last night, we were sitting down eating. Took the time to have take a picture with a family and this little kid. Um,
You made that kid's night.
yeah, but
He's
that
probably still talking about it today.
yeah, maybe, and shit, they might lose the picture tomorrow. Who knows? But I know I did my part, and hopefully I'll never um, you know forget on how much strength I do have when I
Mm.
just meet somebody, even if it's for 3 seconds, 5-minute conversation. 5-minute conversation might turn into a 20-minute conversation. I don't care if I'm eating. I always take time to say what's up, say hello. Um, I was raised by a really, really, really smart woman. Uh, my grandmother was close to the Lord, and her and my mother used to always tell me, you know, you're gonna be tall now. Um, some people might stare, and just always say hello, and even in those short, you know, periods of time when you're meeting people, just treat them like how you would want to be treated.
Mm.
And I think me just having those simple, um, memories of my grandmother, my mother probably stick with me for as long as I live.
If there's someone watching right now whose father is either currently in active addiction or has struggled with addiction in the past, what's your best piece of advice for
Well,
those kids?
I would say, uh, have empathy,
Mm.
for people that are going through addiction at whatever part of their life they're in. Have empathy, and you probably heard this saying before. You put the shoe on the other foot,
Mm.
which means put yourself in their place. And I know that's hard to say to a normie, is what we call them, right? In rehab, right? Because people who are normal thinking people, you just don't think like an addict.
Yeah.
And just have as much empathy and um, as you can stand, or you can take, or you can deliver to those people, because it could be you. There's people going through it all around the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if that fucking Netflix is #2 globally. Um, you know, um, which raises my stock a little bit, my personal stock in life. Um, and if it wasn't, it still wouldn't change me. If nobody watched it, it still wouldn't change.
Your mission.
Yeah, my path or my mission or direction that I'm, putting my life in now, and um, putting into as many people as I can, touch, whether it's with a picture or a handshake or a 5-minute conversation. It's not going to change my way of thinking. You know what I mean? And just love, you as much as possible.
I'll ask you two more questions. The first question, we're going to pivot a little bit. So this podcast is half substance abuse, and I've been doing a lot of compulsive gamblers. So we're talking a lot about gambling
Okay,
and the way gambling
that's
has
an addiction.
progressed. And bro, it's a fun. It's honestly it might be worse than drugs and alcohol in some ways, but as a former pro athlete, you luckily, maybe not luckily, but you didn't play through the era of where
Sports gambling.
FanDuel and DraftKings and everything was legal.
Yeah.
Just quickly, what are your thoughts on the legalization of gambling and what it's
And
doing?
sports, well, and I'm gonna be honest with you, as a sportsman, you know, I want to be um, the one who controls the narrative
Hmm.
to me playing the game. I don't know if you remember the referee Donahue, whatever his name was.
Yeah.
I just hate to say that. I think he's just the only one that admitted it or that got caught.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know a referee that has a $300 million or $200 million contract. If there is one, then let me know about them. But I don't think
Yeah.
they make $100 million a year or $50 million a year. So I think it just puts people in bonds.
Like Terry Rozier.
Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for the kid. Was he found guilty or?
Trial hasn't started yet, but you know they're gonna try to make an example out of
Yeah,
him for
because that's a
sure.
federal case,
Yeah,
right?
it's a Fed case.
And so usually, the little bit that I know about the streets, like the feds only really try something if they know.
If they 96% conviction rate
Yeah,
for a Fed.
and my brother Chauncey Billups got caught up too, right?
Yep, same case.
And that was kind of like off the court.
Yep.
So, me knowing from what I know, like there's a money trail to every business.
Yeah.
And Vegas don't never lose.
Mm,
And I'm just a little disappointed that it's like really gotten into every game.
yeah.
Like before the Knick game come on today, they're gonna have the spread at the end of like,
Tainted a little bit.
are you serious? Because like even if I'm watching the game, if I see a guy who usually gets 30 points a game and then one game he scores 12 in his deciding game, like who's to say that he didn't give his homeboy $5 million of his dollars to put that he wouldn't get it, and then you're gonna get that money back tax free in cash. Like we're all humans, you know what I mean? Like if I'm a player that dedicates himself to the game, um, I can't really be a fan of sports betting.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
yeah.
and there was time where I wasn't dedicated to the game because I chose extracurricular activities.
Yeah.
But um, I know guys that are like, and then I see it like a lot of players that are like retired or like, they're getting these big deals with sports betting services. I'm not going to really tell you how to make your money or how not to make your money, or you know what I mean? Like,
Well, can I tell you what something that bothers me the most out of all of the celebrities that are doing it is like LeBron James and Eli Manning and Peyton Manning. Like these dudes are very successful on and off the court. They got billions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions for the Mannings. Like
yeah. I mean, like we're
you don't need
all,
money from the sports books.
yeah, I know. I mean, we're all like, as a man, who's to say how much money is enough money?
Yeah, I agree.
Because, really here in America, you could really never have enough money.
So
We
where
see
society is
we see one choice in politics, inflation, deflation, with one choice that you ain't really have nothing to do with. So, you know, and then, as a black man, I'm gonna just say honestly, none of us could really never have enough money. Shit can just go the opposite way. And that's for everybody, really, on where it's at now, where the world is at now. We never really know. But for sports is supposed to be like everyone's getaway. It's the only way you can get, people from different religions, creeds, color, um, thought process to kind of come together.
just for the love of the game.
Yeah, and just be on the same page for an hour, 2 hours. And I think sports betting like might be. I don't want to offend anybody because everybody has a right and a choice to support themselves and their family or however they feel like they got to do it, right? But it's just a complex place, you know. And you know, before I watch this game tonight, I just hope it doesn't interfere
Mm,
with truth telling
mm.
because that's what sports is supposed to be, right? And or to play. I just hope it doesn't turn out to be a scripted play.
We're gonna leave that there.
Yeah, please,
We're
because
gonna leave
I
that
don't,
there.
I don't want nobody aiming for me after, like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah,
kind of like want to stay out the way
yeah,
of those people who make their lives, on or off the books.
yeah,
Because it's really not me for me to say.
yeah.
Honestly, like, somebody might look at me like you a piece of shit drug addict. You know what I'm saying? So, um, I just hope that doesn't interfere with the God-given script of sports.
Last question before we wrap up. If there's someone watching right now who's still sick and suffering from addiction, what's your best piece of advice for them?
Well, you can beat it,
Mm.
through God, and through the love of your family. We can all become our best selves. You know, the kingdom in heaven lies within you. The Lord said that's part of the scriptures. So I think if we, tap into that and keep that in mind, that you can kind of beat anything that's getting in your way of you, being your best self. For me, it was drugs and women. They kind of went hand in hand with me. But and like they tell you in rehab, we can't give it to you if you're not willing to take it.
You can only take a horse to the water. You can't force it to drink.
Man. And if you really, 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 really want it, I don't care if you shooting heroin or smoking crack or sniffing coke, or if oxy is your vice or women is your vice. If you really want it, then you can attain it. I'm not a preacher or anything like that, but God, Lord, Allah, Yahweh, whatever you call him, he put us here for us to serve him and serve people. And if you really, really, really want to make that change, then you can do it.
I appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate you more, bro.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you,
Lamar. It's been an honor spending the last 2 days with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to pray you continue on this path.
Yeah.
You're a beacon of hope for a lot of people. You have the power, you have the ability to not only change the lives of your family, but millions of people in this world who look up to you and watch you. And I know that if you continue on this path, you're going to have a whole other life that you never imagined could be possible. And I really believe that. And
I appreciate that.
Let's stay connected, bro. Anything I can do to help you.
I'm here. You got my number.
Yep.
You want to do it again? We could do it. Shit.
No, next trip you're coming to New York, bro. I got to take you to my family restaurant.
Yeah,
we got some shit to do in New York.
I'm with that.
In the description of this episode, I'm going to attach obviously Lamar's socials, but also a link to his podcast that he's starting pretty soon. It's called Ballin' and Building.
Ballin' and Building.
And
with Lamar Odom or Odom Ballin' and Building. I don't know. You might have made me want to.
It's in
the name.
It's in the process, but we'll keep an eye out for it. And as always, thank you for watching. If you're struggling, reach out for help. I'm always here.